Well,
Shout out the new graphics package.
oh yeah. So, everyone, just to let you know, we have rebranded. We have new graphics and things like that. We will be posting, and we have new thumbnails for our videos as well. So, we just tried to get a little more professional instead of using generic stuff that we found on the internet when we first started. So, now that we're established, we actually had to rebrand ourselves and actually brand ourselves. So, but Derrick Rose, what a night that was, man.
Shout out.
How was y'all weekend?
It was good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. Sunday was a really good football game, bro. Or both of them, really. I was excited for both of them, even though I was rooting for nobody.
I knew at some point we was gonna fall, so sadly.
You
But
said, you said what?
I said at some point
Say what you just.
I said I knew at some point we was gonna fall. So
Uh huh. Uh huh. You didn't think he was gonna win it all?
with Jared Stidham,
Yeah, the boy.
He looked good on that one drive where he hit the 50-yard bomb, but besides that,
and then he
Sean.
started passing the ball with two hands.
Okay, well, Sean Payton didn't really set him up for success in that second half. I mean, with the weather changing and stuff, you got to be able to change and adapt. But they
We'll get
weren't
into that in a
doing that.
second. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shot Sports Podcast. Grab a drink, a snack. This is your weekly dose of sports where we'll do a breakdown and a deep dive of the world of sports. Whether you're a casual fan or a diehard, we're here to bring you the latest, the best analysis, and the hottest takes. Subscribe, like, share, even leave a comment. We appreciate all the feedback. Hit the like button for us and tap the notification bell on the right so you can be notified whenever we drop so you won't miss one. We got on the show Nazir and Chris. They just told you how good their weekends were. So, yeah.
before we get going, I just want to say that Devontae Adams might have one of the most unfortunate careers of anyone in the NFL. He became the first player in NFL history to go 0-5 in NFC Championship games this weekend, which is just brutal.
Well, with that, we'll jump into our first topic, which is the Super Bowl is now set. We are getting ready for Super Bowl, and now we have the bracket with us. So there it is, the Super Bowl bracket now, and there it is. A yeah, yeah.
Hey, I have a quick question for y'all, bro. Who are you cutting? JSN, Jamar Chase, Jettas, or Puka? Ooh, I'm cutting Jettas.
I can't really argue with that after this season. He was on my fantasy team. Even when Nine was actually getting him the ball a little bit better in the last couple weeks, he was dropping it. He caught a case of the dropsies. I mean, he had what, 2 good games this season, the entire year? I mean, I think skill wise he still might be better than say Puka, but which might be a hot take even, but I mean, at this point, I can't really argue anything else.
Jalen, who you cutting?
I was really looking at JSN because look at how he looked
Oh,
without Sam Darnold, but because I can't just go off one season. I know Jettas has been the best wide receiver in the league, and then Puka has been the second best wide receiver in the league. JSN has just came onto the scene this year, even though I had him in fantasy. JSN just came onto the scene this year. So right now, today, I would probably have to do JSN. But if next year JSN does the same thing, then we gotta have start having conversations about Jettas.
even if he wins Offensive Player of the Year, you still cutting Jettas?
Well, it didn't Jettas win Offensive Player of the Year too?
Or not Jet? Well, I think so. He won Rookie of the Year.
That's pretty much as close as OP
I don't
oh
think
boy.
Puka. I don't think Puka's won one though.
No, he hasn't. But he's been
Uh,
he's been up there with Jettas for the past 3 years.
He's
mm,
You know,
I mean, Jettas wasn't the best wide receiver in the league last year either, and he had Sam Darnold throwing him the football last year. This year, JSN has him, and he is the best receiver in football. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
And then when you look at Jettas last year, Jettas looked great last year with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but bad with everybody else.
Yeah. So I
And
can't
Kirk,
really
besides
like.
Kirk.
And then when you look at JSN with Geno Smith, look at how he looked. That's what I'm saying. So I can't take recent success over a guy that's been established for years. So JSN would have to probably get cut for me right now. But you know, if JSN puts up another season like this, and then Jettas has another season like he had to this year, then you can start having conversations like, all right, Jettas might get cut over JSN. But
good take.
That's fair.
I mean, it's hard to really look at all three of those anyway to begin with, to just be like, oh, I gotta cut JSN. That's damn. That's crazy. You know, or you cutting Jettas, like, damn, that's crazy.
Well, look, man, the Super Bowl is not what I wanted, but you know, I'm going to start with the AFC quick because look, everyone online is saying, good job, Drake May. Drake May is great, this and that. But he's had a worse Super Bowl run than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had a really mediocre Super Bowl run his first go around. His second year was really good, but they lost to the Chiefs in Kansas City. I'm not impressed. I don't think the Patriots really stand a chance against this team. I don't think they would have stood a chance against the Rams. Now, their defense is really good. Their offense was top 3 all year, but has been probably the worst in the playoffs outside of like the Chargers or the Steelers. Like I'm not impressed with this team still. I don't know what it is. And I know they were playing in inclement weather, but last year we just saw Matt Stafford put up 350 in a snow game, even though they lost in Philadelphia. So I don't know, man. I think the Seahawks are just gonna destroy them. I think the D line is terrifying. Made Matt Stafford feel uncomfortable off rip. The first drive of the game, Matt Stafford was uncomfortable, which is like rare. He never gets uncomfortable in the pocket. He felt like he had to run.
I will say this is the first time I got all the teams correct besides one. The Broncos losing to the Patriots. I picked not this exact Super Bowl. I had Seahawks and Broncos, but I had all of these picks correct. And then the Broncos lost.
Well, I mean, I think a big reason why the Broncos lost was that they didn't have their starting quarterback in that game, and it showed. I mean, Bo Nix.
I mean, I was hyped
being out there.
5-6 minutes of the game.
Denver scored 7 points in that game, and say what you want about the snow, but it only started snowing in the second half. On offense, both teams were awful in the first half, and there was no snow, no excuse for Drake May having less than 100 passing yards in that game. Drake May did not play good in that game. He hasn't all
playoffs, bro. His defense has helped him so much.
Yeah, you haven't. Drake May has not had a good playoff game so far. He had a great regular season, but you could also make the argument there that their schedule was so paper soft that he never really, like, even the better teams that he played against, Baltimore's defense was questionable. Baltimore didn't even make the playoffs. Buffalo's defense was questionable. They gave up 33 points to Bo Nix.
We know why they gave up 33. Josh Allen gave him the ball back at the 30-yard line every drive, so that didn't help.
But either way, and then even when you look at the other good teams, like Tampa Bay missed the playoffs. There wasn't many great opponents that they played this season, and the one that they played, they went 1-1 against. And even in the playoffs, it's like we've talked about playoff Herbert at length. Then playoff CJ Stroud throwing 4 interceptions without his arguably top two wideouts. And then Denver, where they have to play against their backup quarterback, like offensive or defensively, this New England team hasn't been tested yet. And as long, in my opinion, as Sam Darnold plays not even as good as he did on Sunday, but just a pedestrian game, they waltz to a victory in this one.
Yeah, he's right. My dad's right. The greatest show on turf. You know, the Rams were predicted to beat the crap out of the Patriots, and the Patriots won. And then Uh, Buffalo was supposed to beat the Giants back in those days when they went to the Super Bowl like 4 straight times and then happened where I left. So obviously, a Super Bowl is one game; anything can happen, right? You know, you come out, you have your best day, or you have your the best day of the year, and or the best game of your career that day, and it had just so happen to be one game in the Super Bowl. But it's going to be hard to it's hard to sustain being bad, being bad, being bad, and then come back and just turn it on automatically against one of the best defenses in the country, right? Best defenses in the league with the Seahawks, right? I think it was like Seahawks and Broncos. You saw how he looked up there with the Broncos. He looked terrible. Now he got to play against the best defense in the league, the Seahawks. So he played against the top 3 defense, 1 and 2 against um in back-to-back weeks, and now you're about to see will he adjust? Will he be able to, get what's his name, Ramondre Stevenson going for him to be able to have that play action pass open, or are they just going to rely on Drake May to be able to step back, drop back into the pocket, sit there, and make the right read? He didn't do that against the Broncos, which is the second best defense. You think he's going to do that against the best defense?
I have to say, I do think Ramondre Stevenson is going to have a really good game because I think running backs have all through the playoffs so far. Chris McCaffrey had a good game. Kyron Williams had a really good game. Blake Corum was breaking free. I think the run game is going to be crucial for the Patriots. I do, but through the air, it's going to be tough, man. I don't know that their D-backs are extremely physical, and I agree they are very lucky that you don't have Charbonnet, that 2-headed monster in the back. But K9's been unstoppable this playoff. So, real quick, I don't understand. I don't know what they're gonna do against this complete team. They haven't played a complete team. I haven't in the playoffs. They played a Chargers team who had their worst O-line out there, and a hobbled Herbert, didn't trust his team, getting destroyed out there. CJ Stroud is just awful. So they didn't play a really good offense in that team, which they haven't had one all year. And they didn't play a healthy offense. And Bo Nix is gone. I know that's not an excuse because it was right in their hands, but for being honest, if Bo Nix is in that game, it's a completely different game. I'm not really a big Bo Nix guy. I think he's just a better game manager than CJ Stroud at this moment. So in this game, I know Sam Darnold isn't the best quarterback, but he's going to get a week rest from that oblique injury. They're all going to be back fresh. That defense is going to be hungry to tackle, to sack Drake May because he hasn't gotten sacked much throughout this playoff run. I feel like last game he did a lot, but this I think it's just I don't see a chance where the Patriots can win this game. I truly don't. I know anything is possible. I just don't. Their teams are just completely lopsided, in my opinion. I think their defense is better than their offense at this point, but I don't think their defense can even hold what's at stake with this team because they have a good offensive coordinator. Their team is just ready. They're all experienced. You bring Sam Darnold in here with an experienced team that's ready to go for it all. I think the Seahawks get their get back in Super Bowl 60 against the Patriots.
I think I'm with Nazir on this one. I think the only way I see New England winning is if it's like a greatest show on turf moment or a 2007 Giants moment, which if any team in the NFL can pull that off, it's definitely the Patriots, just based off how insane their runs were with Tom Brady and some of the teams that he dragged to Super Bowls. But if you go position by position, Seattle pretty much owns them everywhere. I think New England's offense is still a playmaker or two away from truly being an elite unit. Diggs is good, but I would argue the Rams have 2 receivers better than him at this point. And the Rams are really the only team all season that were able to get to Seattle offensively. They shut San Francisco down multiple times, even with George Kittle in the Week 18 game. I just don't see New England being able to get their offense going because if they couldn't get it going against Houston or the Chargers or the Broncos, how are they going to do it against Seattle? That's what
I truly think that the first drive is what's going to matter here was for this team. And I know that makes sound a little cliche because some teams they turn up in the second half. But I don't think you can do that against this team. I don't think, unless you're the Rams or Sean McVay, which Vrabel is a defensive-minded coach. He's not going to do that. I know they have, that legendary offensive coordinator, that was with Belichick and everything as well. But I just don't think they cannot start slow this game. They cannot, because we saw what the Rams did. They started slow. They tried to inch back, but special teams got in the way. I mean, who's to say that won't happen to them? I really think
New England's kicker was less than perfect on Sunday too. He missed a couple kicks. Now I know the weather was terrible, so there is at least that to factor in, and it probably won't be like that in San Francisco. But Seattle's special teams unit, we've seen it all playoffs. Rashid Shaheed had a kickoff return touchdown.
Hey,
they've been solid. Team. They're solid. They're solid, like in the margins, and I think that's what separated them from the Rams in that game. And what separates them from some of those other teams, like a San Francisco, or not to bring Green Bay into this, but I saw a post on Sunday where it's like Shanahan, McVay, and LaFleur have the 3 worst special teams units in the league, and I think it's really holding all 3 of them back.
Yeah, I mean, all 3 levels of the game, offense and defense, and their special teams are just ridiculous. Rashid Shaheed has changed his team completely, in my opinion. Before him, you couldn't tell if they were like really good or not because Sam Darnold was throwing like 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Then they got Shaheed, and you could see it just flipped the table. And when you can flip the table for Sam Darnold, I mean, at this point, you got to give him his respect. He can drive down and score right away. We saw it last game where they fumbled, they muffed the punt return, and he scored the very next play. So you got to believe that he can do this in this game. I just look, the Patriots defense isn't the greatest, but it's a good defense. I don't think Sam Darnold's played a great defense this playoffs yet. San Fran was injured, and the Rams are, they give up a lot of big plays, but those are also teams he's familiar with. But this team is not going to be familiar with. But as soon as he gets familiar, I don't see anything stopping him at this point, bro. I don't. I think I don't know. I think Seahawks win 28-21. I think they have the lead the whole game. Drake May is going to try to score on his last possession. And I think it's not going to work out. I mean, unless there's some luck that he's been having. He's been having some really good luck. Not when I say luck, I don't mean like he's a lucky player. I mean like he's been playing really good in those clutch moments. But it's not going to matter at the end of the day when, this team is just too much. She is the turning point of the Seahawks contenders. Yes, I David and I went over this. I told David that when Rashid Shaheed was reunited with his offensive coordinator in Seattle, that he was going to break through, and no one believed me. Everyone thought like he's on New Orleans, like can't be that great. Like imagine Chris Olave came to the team or something like that. It'd be something like that, or went to a different team. It'd be something like that. Like Shaheed has been really good. He was amazing to start the season in New Orleans. He gets traded, and this team has been completely different ever since. Sam Darnold now has another deep threat. He has JSN and Rashid Shaheed, another deep threat. A competent O-line, competent tight end, another great wide receiver. I mean, he's turned the team around because offensively and special teams. You give Sam Darnold 30 yards of space to get into the end zone, he will score. We've seen it. So, I don't know. You can't say the same for Drake May. You can't. Not this playoffs.
I mean, to go back to that question, I don't know if he necessarily made them into a contender because they were still really solid that first couple, like the stretch before they traded for him.
Not at special.
They had a couple close losses early in the season, but ever since then, I mean, it's been BTA every single game. But I don't know if he necessarily unlocked them into being contenders, but he definitely solidified them.
If you go watch some of those games where he started in, you could tell a complete difference from the beginning of the year to now because they didn't have him against the Rams the first time. Sam Darnold didn't have anyone else to throw to outside of JSN and Cooper Kupp because Cooper Kupp was getting clamped. JSN was getting triple teamed until the third and fourth quarter. Rashid Shaheed opens the book now. Like we saw last game, he threw deep early in the game. And he's insanely fast. I'm trying to tell you, at the 3 levels of football, if you can, do everything you got to do on offense, defense, and special teams, no one's going to be able to stop you. And this is exactly what he unlocked. He unlocked that third level in special teams, punt return wise and kick return wise. They started off the playoffs with a kick return from Rashid Shaheed. So I don't know. I truly think he's a huge reason that they are being so successful right now. I don't see a chance. I know I've been rooting against them since they beat us, but this is a team that I thought, this are the Rams that I don't see anyone beating in the AFC or AFC beating anyone of the.
I think if Denver made it and Bo Nix was healthy, I'm not saying they would have won because I don't think they would have, but they would have had a chance at least.
I think it's the only team, yeah.
I don't think band for band this New England team can go toe-to-toe with Seattle in this game. Like, there's just too many positions where Seattle has a clear upper hand against them, and I think that's going to end up finally catching up to them in this game because, like we said, the Chargers, their entire, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt were out, so their offensive line was dog water. Houston, their top receiver and top tight end were out, and even then, C.J. Stroud isn't very good, so, they haven't had to face that. Bo Nix was out for Denver, and even then, they don't have a ton of pass-catching threats besides Cortland Sutton, who dropped what was a good ball from Jarrett Stidham in that game anyway, early in that first half, and that was a momentum shifter, arguably. That and that failed fourth down. So, have they I don't really think they've faced any competent offense yet, and I think that's finally going to catch up with them in this game.
I kind of wish Ben Johnson made it only for one reason. Because I kind of want to see what they, Ben Johnson, I feel like, is a crazy offensive mind. I know Sean McVay is as well. But to get that younger look, because the Patriots team is pretty young. And to get that look before the Super Bowl would have helped probably a lot because the Patriots are very, very young. I don't know. It would be very interesting to see what Mike McDonald would be able to cook up after seeing Caleb Williams. I know Caleb Williams and Drake May aren't the same, but they're second-year quarterbacks doing great things right now. So it would have been interesting, but I'm sure Sean McVay going against them is enough. But it's interesting to think what Ben Johnson would have done against that defense.
Also, off topic, but am I crazy to say that I don't think Ben Johnson was that great these playoffs?
I don't think Caleb Williams was great these playoffs. I think he was a little bit overrated outside of the fourth quarter. I think Ben Johnson was fine.
But the thing is, right?
He was bad.
Even in that Rams game, there were a couple of questionable plays, more so in the Green Bay game, I think, where he went for a 4th and 8 on his own 32 or 4th and 4 on his own 32, which I don't think, frankly, was very smart. But there were just moments in that game where, I felt like he missed an opportunity or he tried too hard to, make a trick play, and it just didn't end up working.
I kind of agree with that. I don't know. I think it's interesting to think what he would have done.
I'm not worried about him in Chicago in the slightest because we saw what they were able to do these playoffs. They took a really good Rams team to the brink, came back from down 21-3 against the Packers. I'm not going to argue that either.
I don't think Matt LaFleur is that bad against the Bears, bro. I really don't. I think the defense I don't know. They couldn't stop anybody in the second half. I don't know. I don't think they're that bad. Jalen, who do you got for the Super Bowl?
Seahawks. I was gonna ride, like I said at the beginning of the playoffs, the Seahawks were gonna win it all. If the Broncos didn't get there, and the Broncos aren't there, so the Seahawks are the team to beat. I got them winning comfortably by 10.
Everybody in the comments.
After what I've seen from Drake May against Denver, who has the second best defense in the league, going up against now he has to go against the best defense in the league. Yeah, no, it's
in the NFC at least. They weren't the best team throughout the season, but they were up there.
Yeah, so I just I see they have this out there. This could either way we look at
yeah, I'm sure he is, Penny. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, either way.
He's not my favorite.
Well, these were the top 10 longest preseason odds to win a Super Bowl since 1977. The 99 Rams had a plus 15,000 to win the Super Bowl, which is absolutely insane. But here we go. We got the Patriots at plus 8,000 to win a Super Bowl, and then we got the Seahawks at plus 6,000 to win the Super Bowl during the preseason. So these were the preseason odds, and if you made a bet on either one of these to get to the Super Bowl or even win it, you're sitting pretty right now. Go ahead and cash out your money and then pick a winner.
That's facts.
Or just ride with it. I mean, if you're on that Seahawks money line, you might as well.
Yeah,
you might as well ride with that.
You might as well. If you're the Patriots, let me just cash out.
I mean, but either way, if you just throw down a couple bucks, you could be making a lot of money here off of a low investment. But who in I know preseason, because I've thought about this. We talked about New England being decent this year. Like I said, 9-8, maybe 10-7, somewhere along those lines, just because of their schedule. I don't think anyone predicted them to go 14-3 and be in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't think any of you guys did. I don't think any of our other members did. Like, maybe if you're from Boston, it was a bet that you made, but otherwise, I just didn't see it.
I didn't even think they were going to go coming into playoffs, but their defense has proved everyone wrong. Mike Vrabel has really turned it up.
Chance at all.
Oh no, not at all. He was horrible that year.
Eli never had a chance with these odds.
He got I don't even know how he made the play. I completely forget how he did, but they made it somehow, and he was just horrible that year. No one thought that he was gonna make it. 2007 at least. I don't know about 2011. I don't think
2011 they got red hot at the end of the year. I remember this mainly because they beat the Packers that year, and that was the 15-1 season that we had because
that was rough.
We had no defense that year. It was just Aaron Rodgers willing us to wins in the offense. But I mean, I feel like Drake May is almost one of those types of quarterbacks where he just finds ways to win almost, and it's gonna be like that his entire career.
Speaking of Giants, how do we feel about Harbaugh as a Giant coach? Because I don't think
it's bad. Like for them, I think he's got to nail the offensive coordinator hire. I think that's the biggest thing.
I think he already got one,
right?
He signed eternally from his Ravens team. I forget who's the
Munkin.
No, it might. Yes, Todd. No, not Todd Monken. It was someone else, dude. It was one of his. Oh yeah, he is. I guess he's expected to join the staff. I don't know if he's OC though. I think someone else is OC.
I mean, I think it's better than the current regime and Brian Daboll and a lot of the mistakes that they made. Like this Giants team, I don't think was that far off from being a borderline playoff team this year. They had a lot of games where they just blew it at the end, and then injuries kicked in. Malik Neighbors was out almost the entire year. Cam Scadaboo got hurt midseason. I think if you get those two back and they still – obviously they both have big injuries, so we can't guarantee that they're going to produce at the levels that they did. But if you get them back, I don't think they're going to be as terrible or even close to as bad as they were this year. I'm not saying they're going to be 11-6 next year or anything. But they're gonna have another top pick this year, and they're gonna get their guys back. I think they're gonna move in the right direction, and I think Harbaugh is a good floor guy. I think his floor is probably 7-10 this year with that team. I think the culture is gonna turn around a little bit, and I think they're headed in the right direction.
Sweet. All right, so we're gonna jump into our last topic. We're gonna have a quick pod today. We have MLB Free Agency. So we haven't really had a chance to sit down and actually talk about some of the moves that were made for the MLB for the upcoming season. So December 9th is when it really started off. We had Edwin Diaz signing with the Dodgers, and then you had Kyle Schwarber returning back to the Phillies. And then the next day you have Pete Alonso going up to Baltimore to take a contract with them.
A good signing.
It is for the Orioles.
And then not too long after that, about maybe a couple weeks later, you have notable guy from the Japanese league, WBC star, had joined the White Sox, which was very surprising by everyone.
White Sox could be sneaky good this year. If the Tigers struggle, I mean, that division's pretty wide open. I mean, the Royals, I think, are still a couple pieces away. The Guardians haven't made any moves this offseason. I think if a couple things go their way this year, the White Sox could be in the division race come September.
Yeah, for Murakami to take his talents to the south side, not the north side, to the south side, not go to the Dodgers, not go to the Padres, Braves, or whatever. He went to the White Sox. So that was a choice by him. Apparently, they say that his market wasn't high because for some reason, I guess no one wanted to know. People were concerned about him hitting the fastball, I believe it was, because they say against high octane or high velocity, he struggled a lot in the WBC and in the Japanese league. He struggled against high octane velocity. So, his contract he only signed for 2 years. His contract is very low, so I guess they signed him on a prove it deal to be able to show that you can hit major league fastballs, major league pitching. So he's gonna have a lot to do over there on the south side. On January 1st, for New Year's Day, we were all welcomed with the star signing of Imai going to the Astros, and then 2 days later, you had Akamoto going to the Blue Jays, another star Japanese player. So 3 Japanese players were off the board before we even knew what Kyle Tucker was even doing. So that's insane.
Well, Kyle Tucker took his time, and
he definitely dragged his feet.
Well, what do we want to see out of that team this year now, bro? Because I know, like, everyone was just so upset about that. I know Kyle Tucker was good the first half of the season last year for you guys, and then he kind of just ran. But
we're talking about the Dodgers, you mean?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Kyle Tucker.
I don't think. The $60 million contract he got for a year, $240 million. Yeah, he's going to live up to that, no matter how of a good season he has, because that's an Ohtani kind of contract, right? He's not going to hit 50 bombs batting 300. He's not going to do that. I mean, he's just not. He's probably going to get injured a little bit too, because he's getting older and his body isn't. I mean, he's always had injury problems with Houston. That's why Houston didn't extend him, and that's why the Cubs didn't extend him. So there's a reason why for it, but I digress. He got his money.
I think he'll be decent. I think this Dodgers team, if everyone stays healthy, which is easier said than done, could be one of the greatest teams, even in the regular season in MLB history. Just with the pitching staff that they have, they have the best closer in the league. Kyle Tucker was arguably the best free agent on the market and shored up the one real hole they have in the outfield, offensively speaking. Michael Conforto was god-awful last year, and he was kind of their one guy in the lineup where it's like, okay, you get a bit of a reprieve against this guy, but you don't have that anymore. Now it's from 1 to 9. They're the best offense in baseball. They have the best pitching staff in baseball. They have the best closer in baseball. I think this Dodgers team, when it's all said and done, could win 115 to 120 games next year. Now, of course, this hinges on them staying healthy. But, I mean,
they're already a dynasty.
Yeah. I mean, they won one in 2020. They won in 2024, 2025. They're probably going to win it again this year. But one other team that I think could challenge them this year, if everything goes their way, is the Mets. The Mets have made some really big moves this offseason. Some of that younger pitching, Nolan McLean's going to probably break out this year, I would think. Trading for Freddie Peralta, Bo Bichette's in that lineup now. They don't have outfield depth quite yet, but I think that can still be addressed with the trade before the start of the season. It's clear that they got the message that they need to make moves, and it's time to win with Juan Soto there. So, I mean, this team, I'm not saying they're going to beat the Dodgers, but I'm saying they could compete with them.
On January 7th, we had the Cubs. They had traded for Edward Cabrera from the Marlins. They had to give up Owen Casey, their top prospect. On January 10th, 3 days later, you have Alex Bregman. He signed a contract with the Cubs, 5 years, $175 million. Then 3 days later after that, January 13th, the Arizona Diamondbacks had traded for 8-time All-Star Nolan Arenado. They got some prospects in return. And then you got January 15th where the big news started, where the news dropped. Kyle Tucker had signed that night, late that night, or early that morning, or wherever you were. He signed with the Dodgers for 4 years, $240 million. Then the Rays and Cincinnati Reds and Angels had completed a 3-team trade where Josh Lowe would be going to the Angels, Gavin Lux would be headed to the Rays. and Brock Burke went to the Reds. So that kind of trade actually people forgot about that because obviously the Kyle Tucker news dropped the same day and no one really cared. So that's a big move for, I would say, the Reds too. They get another reliever in there. Gavin Lux was never really going to play much with them. If you think about it, Josh Lowe leaving the Rays, going to the Angels. So the Angels are actually trying to put together something, which is impressive. But then
the
next
Angels
day,
are always trying to be a win now team. But
yeah,
my question is with the Reds is where does the offense come from? Because that was their biggest issue last year. They obviously have Ellie De La Cruz. TJ Friedel wasn't awful, but where's the rest of the offense? Like they don't really have. I don't think that's strong
they don't have
lineup
offense.
top to bottom. Like this team in the pitching staff is very good, and I'm not going to argue against that. But where's the offense coming from?
They feel at some point those guys are going to take a jump, or they feel that the guys like TJ Friedel and what's his name, Tyler Stevenson, and those guys are going to take a big jump or something like that. And I just don't see it.
I mean, they're not bad.
They're not bad. They
Like,
don't have a superstar.
I mean, they're going to be what they probably were this year, a decent to above average team.
Yeah,
that probably wins around anywhere from 83 to 87 games, I would think. They're not a bad team. The pitching staff's really good, but they're also not like they're going to have to get career years out of a couple of their offensive guys if they want to make any sort of a postseason run.
You got January 16th. The next day, Bo Bichette has said, I'm going to leave Toronto and head to the Mets for 3 years, $126 million. And then January 21st, Cody Bellinger had agreed with the Yankees on a 5-year, $162.5 million deal with opt-outs after the second season and third seasons. And then later that night, you get the message that the Mets have acquired Freddie Peralta and reliever Tobias Myers in a trade with the Brewers.
Tobias Myers could also be a spot starter too. We saw that a lot with the Brewers. Like I think that's a sneaky good pickup for them.
Now,
before I ask y'all about the prospects they got, which was Jet Williams and Brandon Spittle.
I love Jet Williams. I thought he was really good.
He's as my brother put it, who knows baseball a lot better than I do. He's Caleb Durbin, but a little bit better at everything.
I was doing research on the kid.
Let me finish the last three signings. The Rangers had traded for Mackenzie Gore from the Nationals, which is a very big move for them to make their pitching staff great. Another one that was under the table, which was Sir Anthony Dominguez, a high octane reliever who was with the Blue Jays. He signed with the White Sox on a 2-year, $20 million deal. I didn't actually see that come through. The Giants yesterday agreed to a deal with Harrison Bader. But yeah, now we got to get into Peralta. So now that Peralta's out of the division, that should free the way the Cubs to just dominate. But, you never know because the Brewers find some way to, do better.
I mean, the Brewers are still going to have a couple solid starters next year. Yeah. Brandon Woodruff is going to be back and hopefully healthy. I mean, he's one of the best locators in baseball. Chad Patrick really came on strong in the playoffs last year, had a really good couple of games. The Miz played really well, really against Chicago and against LA in that postseason run. As long as he can stay healthy, which is easier said than done with how hard he throws. I mean, I think this Brewers team isn't going to be as good. Like winning 97 games back-to-back years, unless you're the Dodgers, is pretty darn hard to do, especially with health. But I think this team isn't going to be bad. I think it's going to be a 2-horse race again in the Central. Maybe the Reds or the Pirates could get hot, but I think it's going to be a battle between the Brewers and the Cubs all season again.
Real talk, real quick. I want everybody to understand that yes, Freddie Peralta is a fan favorite, a beloved person in the city, and he been here for a decade almost. And look, you gotta trust this. Okay, it's really sad to see him go, but this is kind of what small markets got to do in the MLB. Am I wrong? I mean, you got to be able to do stuff like this to compete. I mean, everyone complained about, Corbin Burns trade. In hindsight, paying him would have probably tanked our chances to compete, So I'm thinking, hey, we get 2 guys younger. We get younger. We get 2 guys that can play, I know we have like a bunch of infielders now, which is still an issue, but I don't think we. I don't think this is an issue. I think we still need to spend money, but I don't know. I think this is a smart move. I think the Brewers are trying to do what they can do. Um, I don't think we never pay our star players still, but I think we got to end up doing that eventually. I know Yelich is coming up on his contract, I believe, in the next year or two, but we got to start spending a little bit more money. But I think this is a correct move if you want to be able to compete and stay younger, especially after such a great year. I don't know. You want to get these kids a little bit more experienced and ready to play.
I think Nas is right on that. I think this team is setting up a push for 2 or 3 years from now. I think they're looking at 2026 as kind of a transition year where it feels like they're in a transition year every year. But I mean, next year's probably going to be a lockout. So I don't know if we're going to get baseball at all in 2027. Then Jesus Made and Luis Pena are probably going to be ready by that point. Bryce Terang's probably going to be on his way out the door because some bigger market team's going to pay him. Contreras will probably be gone by then. Jefferson Cuero will be up in the big leagues. And we'll see, like I said, Made, Pena. We could see some of our other prospects coming up as well. Andrew Fisher could be interesting at third base. Like there's other options. Like when you have a really good farm system established that you can go for. And I think they're just setting up a run for a couple years from now.
That's fair. Brandon Sproat might be pretty good, I'd say. But yeah, I mean, I wish Sam was on. We got to get him back on here, especially for baseball talk.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jalen, but the way I look at Sprout is the people that know a lot more about baseball than I do seem to really like him. And you've seen what the Brewers pitching lab's been able to do as reclamation projects for the last couple of years with different guys. And Sprout's not even a reclamation project. He's just a prospect that I think they can really hone in on and just get the best out of him because we've seen them do it time and time again with different guys all season long.
And I know Sam's upset. He thought they were going to get Nolan McLean, but they're not giving up their best.
I was going to say they're not
Nolan
giving
McLean
no
was
shot.
already in the big leagues.
There's no shot.
Like Nolan McLean was already in the big leagues. He was not going to. They were not going to get rid of him. They'll just find someone else to go trade for. And with that, y'all needed to get rid of Peralta because y'all weren't going to get nothing for him. So
exactly, this is a trade you cannot say no to. You cannot.
I mean, like everyone gives us crap for doing these types of trades, and I get it. Like from the Dodgers' perspective, where they feel like what we do is ruining the sport. However, it's either we trade him now for prospects or we lose him next season for nothing because we have him for one more year, and then the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees, one of those teams would just outbid us immediately. There's no way we can justify paying him $30+ million, especially when he's going to be 30 years old. And he doesn't go – Freddie's a great pitcher, but he doesn't go super deep into games. They call him 5-inning Freddie for a reason.
That's facts. You saw last year in the playoffs. He couldn't get past a 6 or 7 inning, which is like you kind of need him at that point, especially in those close games we were having.
That's why I think a salary floor will happen. I don't think a cap is going to ever happen in baseball, but I think there will be a floor to where.
Can someone explain to me the difference? Can someone explain to me the difference?
Floor would be like you set a minimum spending limit, like say you put it at 100 mil. So teams like the Brewers, the Marlins, the Athletics, teams like that they're the Pirates. Like they're not known for spending anything really and just kind of being a profit machine. Or being a smaller market team, they're forced to spend and actually invest in their roster. So say the Marlins, anytime anyone gets good, they just trade them immediately. Like they're forced to actually invest in their roster and not just make it about making money.
So wouldn't it be better to do a salary cap?
No, because
I think a floor
will render. A salary cap will render what players get, or what they think they deserve because they feel like Kyle Tucker would have never gotten a $60 million contract a year. Like he would have never gotten that from anybody.
Now, to be fair, I don't think Kyle Tucker deserves a $60
No,
million
I don't think
contract,
he's.
But there are guys that do
a year. But for the baseball player standpoint, whatever they feel that they're worth, they're not going to even get close to it. And a lot of guys maybe take $15 million off. Well, instead of taking $30 million off.
I agree with
Right.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I think the salary floor is definitely fair.
Yeah, I think a
You
floor
do
is
see
fair.
teams that do it a lot worse than the Brewers do when it comes to that. The Pirates have never spent. Now they've been a bit more aggressive
The
as of
Rays.
late, signing Ryan O'Hearn this year. But I mean, in
The
the past, the Rays are another one where they just like the second anyone shows an ounce of promise, they're off to the Padres, they're off to the Dodgers, they're off to the Yankees,
Yep.
they're off to the Mets.
Marlins did it with Christian Yelich, and they had what's his name, Giancarlo Stanton. They were all down there. Jazz traded to the Yankees, so they had a roster for real, but they traded them away because they don't want to pay them. They can't pay them. So now that salary floor might be at the tuition, they're going to have to pay someone and have to keep a star player like what's his name, Kyle Stowers. They're going to have to probably pay him.
And Owen Casey if he pans out.
Yeah, if he pans out, yeah. Sandy Alcantara, they're going to have to pay him because they might have a floor to keep. So I believe that's huge for baseball. Cap will not happen because you're going to tell players what they can and what they can't get. But a floor dictates the market for teams to where it'll even the playing field out at least for teams to have star players to go watch. So it'll be something to see. But
now let's say if they get say if they put a cap instead of a floor, what will happen? More lockouts?
I think that's really hard
I don't
to do.
I don't think the Players Association will ever agree to a cap.
I don't think so either. I don't think that's even possible at this point because then
baseball.
You'd be like, how do you handle the Dodgers roster right now?
Yeah.
The Mets roster right now with a
Yep.
cap? Like you just have to like restructure all of the players' deals. Like,
and they're not going to
Juan Soto, where he's on a 14-year contract for like $750 million. So like, how do you even maneuver that to make it fit with the cap? Like, I don't think it works.
Ohtani contract, like they're not going to restructure their contract. They're just not going to agree to it. So you're going to have to, and I think the MLB Association knows that. So I think they're going to try to get that lockout done as quick as possible, which I think they are. I think we are going to actually see baseball. I think it's actually going to come. I think they're going to agree faster than what people think because A, they don't want to miss out on money. B, they don't want to, especially with the All-Star game coming to Wrigley Field, one of the most historical landmarks in the world. I don't think they're going to want to miss out on that. And then there's just no point in arguing over a salary cap because their players are never going to agree with that. And then you actually, like what Chris said, when you look at the Dodgers payroll, how the hell do you even run with that? How do you even
like they'd be forced to release half their roster? Like I just don't think that works.
It's not going to happen. And the Players Association aren't going to agree with that. They're going to be like, well, I'm not giving them my money. So you pay me or I'm not.
I mean, as long as we see some baseball, I think it's okay because like the summer's boring as hell without sports.
Yeah.
Like without NBA, without NFL, like there's just nothing going on besides baseball. They call it the dog days for a reason.
And that's where baseball comes in to take away the dog days. You
know? Real quick. Sorry, I know we're talking football, but some breaking news here. The Bills hired Joe Brady or promote Joe Brady to their head coach position. And that, I'm not going to lie, that officially closes Josh Allen's window.
I don't know, but I don't know if I'd go that far.
I would. It's the same thing.
It's clear to me that they need to retool that wide receiver room. And like, I think Brandon Beane hasn't done as good of a job at GM as their owner thinks he has. But I don't think it closes their window, but it's an uninspiring hire in my opinion.
Chris, it's the same exact. He's literally the same coach as Sean McDermott. Like, just a different name. Just a better, maybe offensive-minded coach. That's probably it.
Their defense is still going to be terrible.
Their defense is still going to be trash. Their offense is probably not going to get – they're being cheap and not paying wide receivers, because Stephon Diggs wanted to bang and they let him go. And look what he's doing now. Bro, this team is literally a 5-year deal for guys
they're like the Brewers.
OC for 1 season.
They're like the Brewers almost.
He's been OC for a couple
superstar quarterback, and they want him to do more with less.
How long has he been the Bills OC? 1 or 2 years? He hasn't been there that long.
It's been more than 1. I know that for sure. But
the problem is the Bills are running it. They're not a small market. They actually have money to spend.
Well, football's different too because revenue sharing.
Yeah, so it's like Why
Okay,
are
he
we
was
trying to? We have a superstar player who's signing a long extension with us. Why are we trying to make him do more with less? I don't get
so
it.
he got signed as interim offensive coordinator in 2023. So technically, he has been a offensive coordinator for only 1 year, technically. But if you want to get into the reality of it, he's been there for 2 years. But I mean, I just don't understand this hire. I don't. I mean,
I think
it
I
literally
think
moves nothing.
uninspired is the word that I would use, or bland. Like it's okay. It's not great. Like I'm not gonna give him an F for it because I don't think it's horrible, but it's definitely not a needle mover in any way.
This is
I
a
would
2 for
say
1
my
hire,
final
bro.
thought. I would say
That
my
wasn't even
final
my final
thought.
thought.
Huh?
Go ahead. That was my final thought. But go ahead.
Okay. I just put that on the screen so we won't be able to have
All right,
have
so
that baseball one. But final thought, Rose. Look at the
oh, you got the cup.
souvenir cup.
A nice
Yeah.
cup.
You can get a
They
jersey or
gave
none?
this out. They were giving this out. I wasn't going to get it, but when I first saw what the cup looked like, I was like, you know what? I'm grabbing the cup. But it was one of the best things in my life to ever see, to watch him get them that number up there. I felt like my number was going up there because that's how we all view D Rose in Chicago. He was he was one of us. If you think about it, like Jordan played for the Bulls, Rose played for the city. That's how I tell people. And when Draymond said Derrick Rose means more to Chicago than Michael Jordan, to an extent, both answers are right, but to another extent, that's crazy because Michael Jordan meant way more to basketball for the Bulls organization, right? For than any player that ever will wear a Bulls jersey, right? Like Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. He's means way more to Bulls basketball. Derrick Rose, he means more to the city because of he walked the same streets we walked. We all played at the same playgrounds. We all ate the same foods, took the same public transportation. He was literally one of us. And it feels like one of us played for our organization. So that's how it feels with us. But and both things can be true. So
Unfortunately, I don't think he is.
I
But
don't think so.
I think the argument for him being a Hall of Famer is that
Is
the
because of-
NBA is far and away the easiest one to get into.
Yeah.
For the basketball Hall of Fame.
maybe
Like
not
there's
first
guys from
ballot.
those Celtics teams who average 8 points per game that are in the Hall of Fame, but
Not
if he
first
gets,
ballot.
if not first ballot, if he gets to the Hall of Fame, it'll be because of what he is to Chicago, what he means to Chicago, and what
To
he
basketball
did
too.
Yeah, to basketball, what he meant to basketball. He changed. Look at Ja. Look at all of these guys that would elevate and dunk over people like Edwards. Like we weren't seeing guards doing that before Rose.
It's true.
So what
Not a
he
lot,
did,
at least.
yeah, not a lot. So like what we see from Rose is if he gets to the Hall of Fame is because of what he meant to the city of Chicago and what he meant for basketball for this new generation of basketball players. Steph Curry obviously changed the game with threes, but athleticism and guards being able to dunk over centers and people dunking over each other at like 6'2", then that's where Rose comes in. So
To go off
that's
that
my
point, I
final
mean,
thought.
yeah, point guard wise, he was easily the most explosive and
Ever
impactful.
that we've ever seen.
Yeah. I will say that if he had not gotten hurt, he would.
he probably is a first ballot.
He would 100% probably be first ballot.
If
by
he
now.
doesn't get
would
hurt,
probably
he
get
has
a ring or two.
championships.
That Chicago
already.
team probably wins the title if he doesn't get hurt.
Well, I
Yeah.
looked it up. Like I just wanted to play with it, so I looked up if Derrick Rose never got hurt, how many titles we've had. They said it would have at least two.
Oh yeah,
if
for
not
sure.
3 or 4.
I think so. I think he would have got back to back.
I was like,
I think he would've-
I think they beat Miami
one of
at
those
least
rings that
once.
LeBron won would have been Rose's.
Yeah, for sure. At least
My
one or
final
two.
thought, really quick, before we sign off. I think if the Bucks want to keep Giannis, they have to do everything they can to convince him that this is just a transition year, get a good pick in the lottery, pick one of those generational talents, and go from there. But I mean, if they're gonna trade him, I'm not gonna be mad about that either.
Look,
Just because
I go ahead.
like I don't think it's obvious that they're not going anywhere. He's out, no timetable for return. Like, just convince him that this is not the year. Don't rush yourself back. Get healthy. Let's go next year.
Look, this is my thing. He almost fired his longtime agent Alex Arisis, and over his failure to get Giannis traded from the Bucks, which is pretty interesting.
Is that report confirmed though? Like, is that just a rumor? Because we've had a lot of rumors about him in the past, and like, the thing with Giannis news is I don't really know what of it is like.
I mean, I kind of believe it, dude.
It's clickbait.
Because Rich Paul has been trying to get the Nassus to like get Giannis to sign with him instead for like the past 2 years, and I think that kind of like it kind of played a part into it. But look, if he's gonna go, you just got to go now, bro. At this point,
get out.
Because I think at this point, bro, I know he doesn't want to ask for a trade, but you can clearly tell he does not want to play for us.
The body language isn't there. All of his guys are gone.
You know, it's not even like fun to watch him anymore because it's like everyone can tell, like, you don't even want to be here no more, bro. Like, no one's gonna get mad at you for saying, like, listen, I want to be out. I want to be playing meaningful games again. I don't want to be in the middle of a rebuild. And look, I understand, but I mean, Curry's in the middle of a rebuild right now. You don't see him ever asking out. You know what I mean? I don't know. Giannis, if you want to stay, you got to be able to show that you want to stay.
Like, show that you give a rip.
Yeah, I mean, Curry's playing with these bums out here, and Jimmy Butler got hurt, and he's the only sole player that can really get a bucket. I mean, he's clearly doing it by himself, and he wants to be there. He wants to win. But bro, if you have this feeling that you need to go somewhere else to play in bigger games, bro, go ahead and do it. No one's gonna be mad at you. You already did what you could, and you're not gonna win anything with Doc Rivers. I think everyone knows that.
I'm not saying that Giannis has to like leave to feel better. I wonder how much of like the apathy that this team has is because of Doc. Like, just because Doc
he doesn't even listen to Doc anymore.
Rip. Like, yeah. I mean, obviously Doc needs to be fired. That's cat's out of the bag on that one. But like, I wonder like if they just got a new coach, which you can't because you're paying 4 head coaches at that point. Like, what does that change?
Man, it's very interesting to think what happened if we still had Adrian Griffin on this team, dude. Really.
I mean, we'll probably see Doc get canned after this season, I would think. So
I doubt it. We can't pay him. We can't pay him without like.
I mean, once Bud's contract is off the books, I think we'll can.
Is that this year?
But we'll see. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Once those coaches are out, man, fire everybody. Fire everybody, bro.
Yeah. Well, subscribe, like, share, comment. Follow our podcast page on other platforms. Links on the description box below. We have a Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. We will post reels, shorts of this show, polls, question boxes, and you can always DM us on things you want to have answered or anything you may have. We dab into other topics like music, film, travel, and life outtakes as well. But with the season and the sports season being in full swing, we tend to be right here with the sports with it. So with that, we'll see you Thursday.